for all that you bless us with as individuals, as a community. We ask to be with our meeting this evening, that the business of the city be done, and that your will be done with it. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, we will please have roll call.
Mayor Gary Moore.
Present.
City Attorney Darren Rice.
Here.
Alderman Terry Stahl.
Here.
Alderman Alan Marsh.
Here.
Alderman Cheryl Eckleberry. Here. Alderman Eugene McGill.
Present.
Alderman Bruce McKibben.
Here.
Alderman Clifford Reaver.
Here.
Alderman Dewey Eckleberry.
Here.
Alderman Cody Atterbury.
Here.
We have a quorum, so we can continue on. Next would be the approval of the minutes of the last council meeting. You've had an opportunity to review those. Are there any changes to the minutes? If none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Does anyone wish to abstain? The minutes are approved. Next would be the approval of the bills that have been submitted since the last council meeting. Again, those are included in the packet. You've had an opportunity to review them. Are there any questions? If none, is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
I have a motion by Alderman Atterbury, seconded by Alderman Dewey Eckleberry, to approve the bills for payment. Roll call vote, Cheryl Eckleberry.
Yes.
Marsh.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
McKibben.
Yes.
Reaver.
Yes.
Stahl.
Yes.
Atterbury.
Yes.
Dewey Eckleberry.
Yes.
And the bills are approved. Next would be the public comment section of the meeting. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the council, I'll please ask that you raise your hand. We'll call you up front, state your name. You'll have 3 minutes to address the council. At this time, is there anyone that would like to address the council? Seeing none, we will close the public comment section and move on to routine business. The first item on this evening's agenda is a service agreement with Be All Technology Solutions, LLC. Several years back, the computer systems at the City Hall developed a virus, and we enlisted Heffley and Associates to help us out. And at that time, we entered into a contract with Heffley and Associates, which Chad Barbary was the technician. He maintains our computer systems. There's an agreement in place that, we replace the computers. He takes care of, our IT. But recently, Chad has purchased that section from Heffley and Associates to go on his own. And at this time, he's presented us with a contract to switch it from Heffley and Associates to him. It is at the same price. Everything is the same. I don't anticipate any troubles, and it would be my recommendation that we approve this to continue on service. Any discussion? If none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Alderman Stahl, seconded by Alderman McKibben, to approve the service agreement with Be All Technology Solutions, LLC. Roll call vote, Marsh.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes.
McKibben.
Yes.
Reaver.
Yes.
Stahl.
Yes.
Atterbury.
Yes.
Dewey Eckleberry.
Yes.
Cheryl Eckleberry.
Yes.
And that motion is approved. Next, item number 2 is to seek bids for the west water tower repainting. If you recall the last meeting, we got 2 bids that were submitted, and it was a recommendation that we reject those bids and seek a rebid. At this time, we would just bring it to the council to ask for their approval that we seek bids again, and we will take a look at the bids when they come in and see what avenue we want to travel down. Questions? Is there a motion to approve to seek bids for the west water tower repainting?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Does anyone wish to abstain? We will seek bids for the water tower painting. Item number 3 is just a request for the solar eclipse out of the recreation fund. Currently, there is $24,000 in the recreational fund, and the recreational committee has asked for expenditures, not all at once, but to purchase shirts, to finish paying for the band, and other items that they will sell as we get a little closer to the solar eclipse. They have asked that the city council approve $18,000. I think, when it's all said and done, I think you should see more than what's going out, coming back in. If things go as planned, and, that's always iffy. We've got concerts planned, we've got a full weekend of activities, and we just hope that it goes smoothly and we encounter no issues. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the request for $18,000 out of the recreational fund?
Make that motion.
Second it.
Motion by Alderman Reaver, seconded by Alderman McKibben to approve the recreation fund request for $18,000 to be used for the solar eclipse. Roll call vote, McGill,
Yeah.
McKibben,
Yes.
Reaver,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Atterbury,
Yes.
Dewey Eckleberry,
Yes.
Cheryl Eckleberry,
Yes.
Marsh.
Yes.
And that request is approved. The next 2 items are just discussion items. We will not take any action. Item number 4 is the business tax discussion. Last council, we handed out some literatures and Doug Skaggs went over. We have the new business, we have the facade, and help me with the third one, Doug, I forgot.
Municipal works.
The municipal works. We sent stuff home, asked that you studied a little bit, if you had any questions, to bring it back. At this time, I can say I've had nobody come up with any additional changes. So at this time, we'll open it up for discussion. If there is no discussion, we will then ask Attorney Rice to either put it in resolution form or in ordinance form, and then we can start taking applications for expenditures out of the business tax fund. Again, the committee that handles the business tax will also be the TIF committee. And again, the city council has to approve any and all expenditures from that. Also, it will go to the attorney to make sure that they give their blessing on that the expenditures are truly eligible expense. Does anybody have any comments?
I do have a question. I can't read on here very well, and I do remember you saying at the last meeting, but if you could just refresh us of the span of where this money can be used, like is it just uptown, or is it?
It is current, it is like TIF. The business tax runs from the entire corridor out to Walmart. It doesn't skip this business and include the next business, so it runs from the west of town or east of town all the way to the Walmart. And so everybody that's in there is in the business tax district and should be collecting the additional 1% tax that we approved. There are a couple of, that businesses that have been built that maybe are not in the business tax district now, but, that's another discussion. There are businesses that don't collect as much tax as other businesses. There are things that are exempt. Medical supplies are exempt. Food is exempt unless it's prepared. But it's basically, and you've got kind of a map there that was given out to you, and it is a little fuzzy, but basically it's Main Street all the way to Walmart.
So with businesses that are not, like they could be around uptown, but not exactly right on Main Street, does it have to be a Main in Delaware, I guess is what I'm asking.
The businesses were identified that would be included in the business tax district. Do you have an example that you're questioning?
Not particularly, but I
Okay.
just didn't know if they had to be like, right located, if there is any, on right off of Maine or Delaware.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna go, north or south of the, too far. Doug, do you got any input?
We'll go, in the uptown sector, some, it goes back to Court Street, just right directly in the uptown. But for the most part, it covers the first buildings, the row of businesses north of Main Street, and also the row of businesses south of Delaware. And there are a few more that are kind of cut out a little bit in there, but for the most part, if you want a general idea, it's all the line of businesses from the south of Delaware to north of Maine, and then probably a block back in the uptown sector.
And we go south on 45, to encompass KZ's and a couple of those businesses. Bonds, like Bonds, they are not in the city limits, so they are out of it.
Yeah, I can get you a clearer map if you'd like to. I can just write it off or something like that. I know that's a little worse in black and white than it is.
And again, the applications are there. I believe we put $400,000 into the new business.
Municipal works.
$200,000 into new projects and $100,000 into the facade. Some of those projects are matching. So something new, but it's time that we get the applications and we get the ordinances so that we can start utilizing the business funds. Any other questions? So at this time, with no objections, we will just instruct Attorney Rice to please draw up the necessary paperwork to codify it, and we'll move forward. The last routine business is the tax distribution discussion. We held a joint review board meeting with the taxing bodies a little while back. I explained all the projects that were done in those districts, and I've given you guys a couple of things that we'll talk about here. But currently there is an ordinance on the books that says that the taxing bodies get 40% of the tax dollars collected, and that's off of the top. So that's the minimum amount. I've asked Doug to give me some numbers. As we get into the business tax district, the business tax district and the TIF district overlap. Good, bad, or otherwise, that's up to you to decide. I've got my opinion. But, I think it's time. TIF 1 is nearing the end. I think it ends in 27 and is payable in 28. There are businesses that are excluded from TIF that will not be excluded from the business tax district. So I think it's time that the council takes a look at maybe increasing the amount given back to the taxing bodies, and the city of Fairfield is also one of those taxing bodies that would get some additional funds. We made the choice as a council to get rid of TIF 2. I don't think we want to do that for TIF 1. I think we need to leave some money there in case something happens, that would be very beneficial to the community. But if we're going to start using the money out of the business tax district, I think we need to take a look at giving more back to the taxing bodies. The two pieces of paper I've given you there, it lists the fund balance. It lists the current commitments. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Now Doug has scheduled there are a couple of TIF applications out, but I don't think those amounts will be extreme. So we have about $95,500 in current commitments to property owners out there. And we have about $1.4 million in uncommitted funds. If we do the 40% contribution, that's about $393,000 and some change. We have some earmarked projects that will be completed that we're gonna have to pay. We've got the parking lane projects with the resurfacing. We've spent $186,000 year to date with an anticipated of about $545,000 left. So we have some uncommitted funds. If we were to give 60% back of the funds to the taxing bodies, that would leave TIF balance of uncommitted funds of $298,981. If we jump that up to 70%, that would leave an uncommitted funds of $200,138. There is a project, you know, that one of the taxing bodies is trying to get, and that's the splash pad out to the park. You know, they're trying to obtain a grant for that, but I think, you know, this is a way of maybe pushing some extra funds, you know, back to the taxing bodies that will help that project out, because that project, you know, not only will benefit, you know, the residents of the city of Fairfield. You know, the park district is used by many, many people in different townships, different cities. You know, also another project that I think it's wise that we leave money in there for is the college foundation. Frontier Community College is looking to build a full-size gym. That will be a monumental improvement for the city of Fairfield. It will, you know, hopefully bring in, you know, volleyball tournaments. I mean, there's just a wide variety of things that can happen there. So, you know, it's wise that we prepare to help that organization out also. But at this time, you know, for discussions and thoughts, anybody got any thoughts?
So this is just what we already have for this year, and then we'll get more next year?
Yes.
Up until 27?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, we get about 900,000, 950 or something like that.
So there's room in the future for the college?
There is,
Okay.
yes.
I'm personally in favor of doing the 70% then.
And that would be my recommendation also. Any other discussions? And basically what we're gonna do here is if we agree, Attorney Rice will draw up the resolution or ordinance to the next council meeting that we can approve the distribution back to the taxing bodies. So, and I know nobody likes straw polls. 70% it is?
Agreed.
Okay. So at this time, we will ask Attorney Rice at the next council meeting to have it, to distribute 70% back to the taxing bodies. And you know, in 2020, I mean, when TIF ends, you know, anything that is left in there is automatically returned. You know, so, you know, we'll approach that bridge when we get there. There's nothing else in the routine business section, so we can move into the miscellaneous. The only thing that I've got in the miscellaneous, in front of everybody, I have a flyer. It's a letter, but it's actually going to be a flyer. You know, everybody, that we are in the process of installing new AMI meters that Wayne White is installing. They're probably 70% done, somewhere around there. And that gives us the ability to read the meters remotely from the office. So we are at the process that we're ready to start reading. They've been completing the routes by books. The city meter readers have about 12 books that they read on a monthly basis. So we've been going around and completing them by routes. But we're gonna send out a flyer that everybody will get that is a city residence, and it basically says, part of this, there's gonna be what is called a true up. Depending on what book you're part of, you might be paying utilities from the middle of last month. Depending on what book you get on, you might be, close to what we consider current. Our bills come out on the 1st, so not everybody's meters are read from the 1st to the 1st. If you take a look at your meter reading, your utility bill, it will tell you what your dates of service are. With these new meters, we will be able to bring everybody up to current. So when you get your bill at the 1st of the month, it's for what you used. It's not backdated, and that's all explained in here. The bad thing and it's not a bad thing, but the thing that will happen, and again, depending on when you got your meter read, you might see an extra 5 days of usage. We are going to add 5 days of usage until we get everybody caught up in what we're going to call current. So if you'll look at your bill, it'll tell you it went from this date to this date. And once we get everybody caught up, it'll be a current bill from then on. And I think it's very well explained in here. There's also a mention of the Smart Hub. I don't know how many people use the Smart Hub, but if you use the Smart Hub with the new AMI meters, you can go in there and you can see your usage by the hour, by the day, ever how you want to look at it. They can go in there, they can view it, they can see when it spikes. If you think, why is it so high? I mean, they can say, well, you're peaking at noon. What are you doing? Are you washing clothes? Are you drying clothes? I had them personally look at mine, and you could see about the time when I got home. At 5 o'clock, my spike went up, so I was cold or hot or something. There's a lot of good, valuable information. You can pay your bill online. You can request service online. It's the world today is going online. You can get your bill electronically mailed to you, so you don't have to worry about, well, it went to St. Louis, when's it going to come back to Fairfield? That's one of the complaints that we get quite a bit is it's the 1st, or supposed to be out in the 1st, but here it is the 8th, and I've not got my bill, and it's due by the 10th. Sign up for the Smart Hub. You'll get it the day they process it. So the letters will be in your mailbox shortly. The Wayne County Press is in the process of printing them and getting them mailed out. If you've got any questions, please call the number that's listed, and the number listed at the bottom is the number to Wayne White Electric. It's those girls out there that are dealing with the billing, are dealing with your questions. You call here, our current girls up front, they don't have that information in front of them. So please, if you've got any questions about the Smart Hub, about your usage, about the true up, the 5 days, please call them. They can explain things very well, and their number is listed at the bottom. Okay? Any questions on that?
Do you have a start date when that starts?
The start date, it is their hopes that they will, the last day of the month is when they will use. Like I say, we've got about, of the 12 books, I think they've got like 8 or 9 of them completed. The cold weather kind of slowed things down a little bit, but hopefully they can get back out there and get them. You'll still see the meter readers in your yard or on your property. They still have to read the gas meters, and they still have to read the water meters. And until we get 100% switched over, they'll continue to read your electric meters. But that process should be going away really quick. Does anybody else have anything under miscellaneous? If none, and we have no need for an executive session, we will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Anyone wish to abstain? Have a great evening, everyone.